What is going on, y'all? This is the Caveman. I'm here with Football with Oz Austin for episode 86 of Against the Blitz. And we're talking about the wild card round. Obviously, it's not done yet by the time you're watching this on Monday morning, most likely. But we're gonna go ahead and cover the 5 other games that were all pretty good across the board, other than the one stinker that really kind of bombed the party. But before we get into it, of course, Discord in the description if you want to talk football with all of us. We got a healthy, very active Discord down there, so make sure you check it out. I want to first highlight my poor finger wrapping job because I don't have any band-aids here, so I had to use duct tape and a paper towel. And I think I still did a better job on my finger with this than what Justin Herbert did with his receivers against the Patriots tonight.
What could have been so bad where you had to warrant a duct tape and a paper towel?
I have like finger, like, I don't know. I'm like one of 5 people that have like bad like cuticles and shit. Like if we really want to talk about it. So I'll pick at them and then just sometimes they just don't stop bleeding. It's been like 45 minutes. It won't stop bleeding. So I'm like, I guess I have no choice. So
duct tape.
I look like Justin. This is what Justin Herbert's finger looked like at one point in the season. So I have a lot of commonalities with him right now.
Yeah, I said pre-show that I'm not giving this game more than like 30 seconds of my time because I'm pissed that I gave them more than 30 seconds of my time watching the game. I mean, Herbert, the offensive line, good old-fashioned Greg Roman. Like the Patriots played poorly for like 85% of the game, but the Chargers offense played poorly for 100% of the game. So yeah. Kudos to Mike Vrabel. They dialed up some mean blitzes just to really put a stamp on the game at the very end and embarrass them as hard as they could. So got some momentum going into next week for them.
We debated acting like that game never happened and just kind of like not even talking about it. But we won't go that far. I mean, yeah, it really is the story of it. And the frustrating part for someone like myself, and I know you kind of are on the fence with Herbert, I feel like, as far as how you feel about him as a quarterback. But for me, I do lean toward the defenders a lot more than the haters. And he's dealt with these circumstances all season long. This wasn't anything new, and it just felt like the plays that we're used to seeing him make, he just wasn't. And that's kind of the narrative with Justin Herbert in the postseason, and he had a nightmare performance. He wasn't even supposed to win this game. The Chargers didn't have to win it all. It just couldn't be this for Herbert, and it was the worst possible outcome for his defenders, for Herbert himself. Like it's going to be hell on social media for that kid for the entire offseason. And I think the other part too is I'm seeing other Justin Herbert defenders take to Twitter immediately after this game to immediately defend him. It's like, this is exactly why there's so much animosity toward him. Like, what's the problem? Like, why? We just give it at least a couple days. He didn't play good. It's okay to admit it.
Yes, the only like part of the Herbert non-defending that I have is because of that. Like, I think some people take it so far, and I'm like, okay, you don't have to defend everything he does. Like you can't sit here in good faith and say Herbert played a great game. He was let down. You can say Herbert played a bad game. He was also very much let down. Like he wasn't making throws. He had that deep ball to Kamani Vidal that could have really put a stamp on the game. And he missed that one. He missed a lot of throws. He made them all really hard to catch because he was just firing rockets. And it's not all his fault at all. Like I would put him as like the 18th worst player of this game. It just so happened that like there were no good players in this game.
Right. Yeah. It's like I had to reply to one of them. It was Ben Solak. He immediately puts out a tweet about which quarterbacks in history have lost their first 3 playoff games. And the list is like Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan, another pretty good quarterback, just a list of guys that go on to be very good. And, you know, he'll play the angle of, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying or defending, but obviously his intention is to kind of, you know, play defense here. And it just is like, I had to respond. I'm like, dude, just wait. You could put this out
just give
a
it
little
a
bit
beat.
long. Yeah, like he sucked. It's fine. Like
Yeah. I mean, most offense, the Patriots finally found a little bit of a groove late in the fourth quarter when they're putting this game away. That good throw to Hunter Henry. But really, it was just like checkdowns to Stevenson or like a wide open linebackers clear out. Drake May just scrambles up the middle untouched, unscathed for 15 yards. Like it was a really well defensive called game by Jesse Minter. Like there was not a lot of plays being made, but it was just enough for like 16 points given up. You probably should win the playoff game. So like I'm not gonna get mad at anything on defense that they did. They forced 3 turnovers, I think it was, on the game. I think the defense played plenty fine to win this game. Everything on this is offensive line, Greg Roman, Johnston, and Herbert.
Yeah, Johnston.
I hate Johnston. I hate him so much.
I have to wonder. I almost want to go back and I will gouge my eyes out doing it, but I want to see every Quentin Johnston rep in this game and just see how badly he was just strapped. Like, could it have been that bad, or was Herbert not throwing it on time? Like, what was it?
And he'll get the excuse like, yeah, he was being guarded by Gonzo. Like, sure, but like, he's a 6'4" freak athlete that was drafted in the first round. Like, you don't get to just have excuses in the playoffs because you went against someone good.
Yeah,
like you have to win a rep. A single one, not that one little check down he had against zone coverage. Like win a rep, please.
It's just puzzling where Lad McConkey has gone. And the thing that gets me is Brian Thomas has been public enemy number 1 amongst the entire community, especially the fantasy community, primarily because of a few drops to start the year. And then eventually he just kind of got fizzled out of the offense in Jacksonville. But last I checked, which was a few weeks back, like week 15 or so, Lad McConkey has had a more disappointing season statistically on a per-game basis than Brian Thomas has, and no one really has talked about it. No one's really shit on him for it, and I'm not going to say they should or it's his fault, but his impact has been so lacking, and I thought in a game like this where we knew Gonzo would probably be hovering over Quentin Johnston a lot, you got a guy like Ladd who's probably going to be seeing, Marcus Jones a lot. Like somewhere along the line, I thought he would be the guy, and it just never happened, and it didn't happen for anybody. But if there was a moment in this season at some point where he was going to finally become the focal point, it was this game in this matchup specifically. And if it's not happening here, then it just wasn't his year. It just wasn't happening at all.
No, the only reason I don't think he gets it is because he was getting like borderline top 20, top 15 kind of like marks, but whereas BTJ was getting like top 6 kind of marks. And I think a lot of it came from BTJ's, like he's had a disappointing season altogether, but like the Bengals game where he like almost lost them the game by himself, and just the hype that he had was so high. Whereas Ladd just kind of disappeared. He didn't have any like stretches of games where he dropped everything and he like couldn't catch anything, and he was targeted 12 times and couldn't catch any of them. Yeah. He like you said, he kind of was just like fizzled out somewhere along the way where he was kind of treated like a wide receiver 3, but he didn't like earn it. Like BTJ earned to be replaced by Parker Washington. Like Ladd didn't earn to be replaced by Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen sucked way worse today, in my opinion, but
agreed.
Still, like Ladd was their best receiver today.
Yeah, he was.
Still, somehow.
he was. I think the Chargers are going to be going into next season with 2 new coordinators. I feel like you cannot evaluate what happened in this game from a coaching perspective and say you can run this back with Greg Roman. Like it's been all season long, really, where they've dealt with this. It's just been Herbert covering the Band-Aids, and today he was unable to do that. We can shit on him all we want, but Greg Roman also deserves a shit ton of criticism. And if Harbaugh is serious about this, about making Herbert a Hall of Fame quarterback and, all of the love he has for him, it's like one of the most overblown narratives that we hear every fucking year now, then you replace Greg Roman and Jesse Minter will rightfully get hired. because this was a good note to end on if you're Jesse Minter for sure. Like you said, the Patriots offense was not special at all. Drake May was hit a few times. He had a few turnovers himself. And it really was just, I wouldn't even say the Patriots defense did anything exotic to throw Greg Roman off and Justin Herbert off. It was just crowd the line of scrimmage, mug the gaps, and fucking sprint every single human being at Herbert. And that was it. There was nothing happening.
It was ballsy, and I appreciated it. But it wasn't like they weren't disguising everything. They weren't, throwing the kitchen sink at him visually. They were just throwing the kitchen sink at him physically. Like they were like, here, catch, and then just throwing it at him. And he couldn't handle it. I mean, I don't blame him. He had guys in his face after 5 seconds. It was just a bad adjustment period from Greg Roman. Like they didn't do anything different. They didn't start taking shots. They didn't start dumping the ball off quickly. It was just the exact same thing where Herbert drops back, sees nothing, holds on to the ball, tries to find something, gets smashed in the face, falls down, probably fumbles one of those few hits. Like it was bad. Bring in Mike McDaniel. Sorry. That would be cool.
Yes.
That would be cool. Like bring offense back to LA again. Like the Chargers offense used to be so good. And it was way more fun when they'd lose playoff games, but like their offense scored like 30 points. Nowadays they're scoring 3. So look what you did.
Right. And it was funny too. Like now that I think about it, I can't recall a single screen pass that was called, a bubble, an RPO, like you said, a shot play. They finally took a couple shots downfield. It resulted in one flag, which got picked up, and then a flag on the very next play. And I still don't think there was another one thrown after that. There was legitimately no answer, and it's puzzling. So that's really this game. It's going to sound like, especially because at least myself, I was very anti-New England in the preview, that I'm avoiding any way I can to give the Patriots credit, but really it was a brain-dead game plan. It was checkdowns, yards after catch, and just rush everybody at the quarterback and play man coverage behind, and that's it. There was nothing here that I was amazed by from either perspective.
No, it was good head coaching. It was good decision-making. It was good stuff like that. Just nothing spectacular, which is how you find yourself winning a 16-3 game. Like it's not. I don't think that'll be too controversial.
No, you would hope not. And Harbaugh not going for it on fourth and short at midfield as the 7th seed. Like get the fuck out of here, dude.
They played this game like it was a regular season game.
Yeah, they did.
And really they still had another game after this. They took a coward's way out for sure.
Agreed. Well, the 4:25 game was kind of in the middle between what we got on Sunday night and what we got at 1 p.m. It was kind of a mix of both. And the 49ers end up coming out on top. But I want to, before we talk about the X's and O's, talk about, unfortunately, Greg, holy shit, I was about to say Greg Kittle. Am I old?
Oh,
George Kittle, unfortunately, tore his Achilles. But we just had this big conversation about the electromagnetic field next to Levi Stadium. And then George Kittle. It's not funny, but like I saw people talking about it, and I'm like, holy shit, wait a second. Why would he have just torn his Achilles?
And there's like there's no way for me to test this with people like Kittle. He's been hurt his whole career, but I can't tell because he's been in San Francisco the entire time. So there's no way, like if he played like 4 years in Detroit, we'd be able to say, well, he didn't get hurt there and he's hurt there, but no, he's hurt every single year, so I have no way of telling. But yeah, I mean, it was sad. It was really sad, but they did a really good job of managing that. Like DeMarcus Robinson, 111 yards and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey and Juice were their next leading receivers. Juwan Jennings had 1 catch for 45. Like it was a crazy schemed game from Shanahan, all things considered. I mean, he had Malik Turner out there who had his first target since 2021, and he was out here dropping passes. Like, that was a masterfully offensively coached game where Brock Purdy tried to sell it at some points, but Shanahan had it on lock.
He sure did. He tried his damn hardest to blow that game. But he did, make a few throws, escape the pocket a few times when he needed to. So I don't want to be too harsh on him. Still threw for 262 and led that final drive, which, put them up. So credit to him. And yeah, this is really all about Kyle Shanahan from the 49ers end of things. And this has been what he's done all season long. He's been able to make it work with what he's got. That's been the 49ers' MO. Next man up is what they say. And the defensive side of the ball, it's the same thing. Robert Saleh coached his ass off. I think from the Eagles' side, the Eagles' perspective, yeah, they might suck. It might be a Chargers kind of thing where, yeah, they just really were that bad. But when you're rolling out guys that I have never even heard of in my life, making open field tackles on supremely good football players, you got to tip your cap to Saleh. Like, this is your assistant of the year, I would say. And he probably won't get it. Shanahan probably won't get coach of the year, but somebody on this staff deserves something, because this year is just probably one of the most well-coached years I've seen in a long time.
Maybe that something is just a Lombardi trophy.
Yeah.
I think that would be much more appreciated to them than anything else, because this is their year. I mean, everybody's looked fine, but nobody's looked spectacular. Like, everyone that's played in the playoffs outside of this last game looked kind of on the same playing field, which is a compliment to them all. Like you said, I mean, they had some guys out there whose names I haven't heard in forever. I haven't heard the name Garrett Wallow in a good while. Like, not since he was at TCU. I didn't even know where he was. I had no idea. Marcus Siegel, he made some plays earlier in the year, but it's good to see him making plays. I mean, it was awesome. Like, Eric Kendricks, team MVP, by the way. That guy was unbelievable. Like, Christian McCaffrey was unbelievable. DeMarcus Robinson, Juice was awesome, but Eric Kendricks, the linebacker, was the best player in this entire game on either team. He was unreal.
He was Fred Warner. He replaced Fred Warner.
Yes.
Well, he replaced Tatum Butane and then became Fred Warner in the process. Like, that was such a well-played game. Like, the quarterback of the defense, that whole thing that the middle linebacker is supposed to be, he fully embodied it, and he just got signed not too long ago. Like, he was not on a football team, and he's stepping in for San Francisco. And he's got 10 tackles, 7 solo, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass defended. A wild development, and it just kind of speaks to what Saleh's been able to do. Like, just listen to some of these names: Garrett Wallow, Marcus Siegel. We had Sam Okuyeyanu. I don't know who that is. Can't lie. Cleveland Farrell has been on this team all year, but he was out there trying to make it play. Jason Pinnock, that guy, not
giant legend.
Giant legend. And then Jalen Graham. I can't tell you I know who Jalen Graham is. Is this even a defense? He's a linebacker.
Yeah, he's a depth special teams kind of guy, I think. But still, like, the fact that we were throwing interceptions targeting even Sky Moore. Why is Sky Moore running routes in the Lord's year 2026? This was a crazy development. I mean, the fact that I was kind of shocked at one thing where I was shocked when Kittle went down. They didn't really use Tungus as that. They used who's checked like that, which was kind of cool. Like, he was a legit route winner. He was winning routes, and he was like winning with his hands. Like, it was really sick. And then after the catch, he tried to kill Reed Blankenship on that one play. Like, it was sick.
Well, he made Zach Bond miss in the open field first, and then he ran through Reed Blankenship. It was funny because prior to this game, there was people on Twitter and the internet saying Kyle Juszczyk is going to go down as like the worst 3-time All-Pro in history. What? Not because he's bad, but just because, like, getting 3 All-Pros is a pretty big accomplishment. But really, it just seems like it's become an award that they just give to Kyle without much consideration, because he doesn't got much competition really at the position anymore. And he is the best one, but to get 3 All-Pros, it just feels like a shoo-in. But then he goes and has this game, and it's like, man, those people feel kind of stupid now. But I did chuckle at those jokes because I kind of agreed. But he did have some hands catches that I'm like,
this was his best game I've seen him play in a long time.
Really?
Yeah, and like it was kind of the opposite for everybody on the Eagles. I think this was one of Saquon's better games of the year, all around. But really, everybody else, I think this was AJ Brown's worst, and definitely a very mild Jalen Hurts game, which was kind of the talk of the town. I mean, Jalen Hurts only having 14 rushing yards, 168 passing. AJ Brown had 3 catches. I bet he had more than 3 drops. Only 25 yards too. I mean, he was getting into it with Sirianni on the sidelines, like legit screaming matches. I'm not a word reader, but I'm pretty sure the word bitch was thrown around like a good 8 to 10 times in that one interaction. So it was a bad scene, not only for the loss, like you can take an L, but the morale is way down in Philadelphia right now.
It is. And I think AJ Brown is gone. It feels like with the way that game went specifically, he's been upset about not getting the ball, and now he's not getting he did get the ball a few times. He dropped the ball, and now not only is it like, okay, AJ, you're the crybaby for not getting the football, but now you're also the dickhead because you dropped it when it came to you. So now no one in Philadelphia likes you. So you already didn't want to be there. No one in the town wants you around, so you might as well go. It just is going to be tough because I was reading he has a $20 million dead cap hit if he were to get traded. So it would probably be better off just firing Patullo, firing Sirianni if they really had the balls, and then, bring in Brian Dable as your offensive coordinator, hire Kevin Stefanski, revamp the coaching staff, and, make your star players happy instead of appeasing to your overgrown child of a head coach and, your moronic offensive coordinator. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out. But if he gets dealt, I still think Patriots and Bills are the top 2 destinations. And I'd much rather be Buffalo than New England.
Yeah, but if he goes to New England, he might tear them down from the inside. He'll give him a good year or 2, then tear him down. But Diggs also might do that.
He might. It feels like he's already started his campaign in that way, just, beating his
different way.
Yes. Beating his chef, his private chef. That's
yes. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
And he's still getting to play football. Though apparently, like, his court date, he would have been able to make his court date if they lost this game. Could you imagine if any of us normal people, us normies, said, actually, we have, we got to go to work, or I have a family get together, I can't make it.
I'm playing volleyball. Sorry, bro. I got a game. I'm playing league tonight.
I know. Like, what makes your NFL football game any more important for your court date compared to, like, my Call of Duty search and destroy match?
Just some good weasel lawyers getting in there, and they can move around anything. It's insane.
Right. It just feels like it's got to be the end for Sirianni, though, or at least this AJ Brown. It's AJ Brown or Sirianni. It feels like we're at.
There's a timeline even on a team or a window, and Lane Johnson is on the way out just from age. You got Saquon. I mean, he's not entering his prime. He's probably on that slippery slope down. You have a couple guys like that. AJ Brown's probably on his way out. Goddard's at the end of his contract, and he made damn near most of their offensive plays outside of Saquon and Devontae. So it's just a couple really key players, key coaches that might be on their way out. I don't think Vic Fangio is going to be coaching for this whole dynasty. His blood pressure looks terrible. I mean, he's just pissed off all the time. So I just don't see like their current regime sticking around. They're going to have to keep crushing these drafts. Their last draft didn't really have any super high impact players in these games. So they're going to have to crush this next one and crush this free agency too.
They are. It's going to be Howie Roseman's biggest test.
Yes.
We always, make jokes about how Howie Roseman, how did he do it? He did it again.
Yeah, he got John Mechie. Oh my God, how? How did he get that guy?
That's one of my favorite jokes that we have on here. But
It pisses
Jalen
me off.
Hurts will be once again going through that like coordinator shift where is it him or is it the coaching? Because it went from, Brian Johnson and then they go and get Kellen Moore and it's night and day. And now here we are with Kevin Patullo. And if they go and get Brian Dable, we'll see is it night and day again. But it really, like, you can't drop back on the last play of the game and throw into triple coverage and be like a serious quarterback doing it. That was just not open. It wasn't open from the second he decided to throw it. It wasn't open when the ball was in the air. It wasn't open when the ball got there.
No.
And he only was pressured 6 times in this game. If you're only pressured 6 times and you're throwing to Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, Saquon in your backfield, like, you better look like what Jordan Love looked like in the first half or else you're dog shit. I don't care what routes they're running. Like, you have to be able to figure it out when you are only pressured 6 times. And he would escape pockets early. He wasn't throwing anything on time. I don't know. I'm out. I think most people are out. I'm on Hurts at this point, but I'm really out.
We've collectively been out. Most people in the Discord are pretty out. I think this game's putting just about everybody out. Because if the guy that clings on to his reputation of being a playoff riser kind of puts on a little bit of a stinker in the playoffs, we're going to be waiting another full year until we can say good things about him again.
Right. Almost like, Justin Herbert to some extent. We're waiting to really put a stamp on his elite tag, if you will. And we're waiting for that good playoff performance to happen, and it just isn't. And we can watch 2026 and be amazed all year long, but what will matter the most? His next playoff performance, and we just will have to wait until then to really see what he is, or at least, be able to change our opinions. And that's kind of with Jalen Hurts. It's like we kind of have a good gauge on what he is as a quarterback, but no one's going to really change their opinion until we see him in the playoffs again. And if he, elevates his team like he's done before, or he looks like this.
Yeah.
So good for the 49ers, though. I was rooting very hard for San Francisco.
That was one of my most opinionated watches of the cycle. So I am up.
I think most people that weren't involved in this game, being a fan either way, wanted the Niners. I think the Eagles are just widely disliked by everybody at this point. Then we had the 1 p.m. game, and the Bills, they did it again. They put on another potential game of the year for us all to be on the edge of our seats for, shitting ourselves, biting our toenails, biting our fingernails.
Do what you got to do. I mean,
I don't know why toenails came out there, but that's how it felt. Like, we were just horrified about where that ball was traveling every time it left the broadcast angle, and it was, panning toward the destination. It was just scary every single time. But Josh Allen's Josh Allen, and we knew that beforehand, and that was why it was confusing to me why Jacksonville ended up being the favorites, when the game kind of started.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of things that I thought were really cool about this game. I think number one, Josh Allen, of course, played a good game, but the receivers helped him. And I thought that was sick. I mean, Keon Coleman had a huge play. I was shocked he was even active. Brandon Cooks was making plays. Khalil Shakir had 12 catches. Is that his career high?
It might be.
It has to be. I was trying to count his box score in my head, without looking, and I was almost exactly right. I was like, this sounds ridiculous, but I think he has 12 catches right now. And he did. He made a lot of plays. Josh made a lot of plays. And it was encouraging that they were able to score 27 points, and the run game did pretty much nothing, which is encouraging because usually it works. The Jags have an elite run D. I wouldn't hang on that too much. It just wasn't a good matchup for the run game, but they were able to find a pass game pretty damn well in this game and cause a couple turnovers that just were the game.
Yeah, it was. And Joe Brady was catching flack throughout it and talking to some of my friends and family. And there were times throughout the game where it's like, yeah, this play calling just feels a bit stale. It doesn't feel creative. Like we're waiting for some sort of pop down the field or, some sort of design where it's like, wow, that was great. It was well timed. It was a good call against what they saw, but it took a while for it to finally happen. And then the drive where Kincaid scored, that was where I was kind of redeemed in my feelings toward Joe Brady. But the whole, he throws too many, he calls too many screen passes and he doesn't try the ball downfield. I thought he was very good as far as his timing of the screen passes being called. I want to go back and look, and I didn't because I was watching football all day. But most third down screen passes that were called were converted for first downs. And all I see is Bills fans saying, oh, another screen pass, another screen pass. It's like when the Jaguars are sending 7 players at your quarterback and you don't have a receiver that's going to win on the line of scrimmage instantly, which we know they don't, you have no choice but to throw the ball quickly and just hope to God that Khalil Shakir can break 2 tackles and get the first down. That's your only play call. And it worked.
Yeah, he's the best rack specialist receiver in the league. And if they don't, like you said, they don't have guys to just go put, do you want Tyrell Shavers to get 8 targets? Do you want him pushing it vertically? Is that what we want here?
They'll say yes, by the way. That's
I bet they will. I'm sure they will. But they scored 27 points, which is very much enough to win a playoff game against a very solid and hot Jacksonville team and defense. So I think the results speak for themselves. Not every OC is perfect. We can't just run 4 verticals and flood all game long. Sometimes when, your offensive line isn't quite as good as they have been the last couple years, you got to coordinate around that. Throw some screens. Get your best players out in space like Shakir and let him make a move. We had a lot of moves. He had 12 catches and got 82 yards.
I was very upset with the refereeing in this game before we talk about anything else.
Yeah.
And this wasn't just I wasn't thinking, oh, the refs are out to get the Bills and this is rigged or any bullshit like that. But the Brandon Cooks, quote unquote, drop that was overturned, I didn't think there was anything there that was clear and obvious to overturn. The ball might have touched the ground a little bit and bobbled, but I don't think it was enough to overturn the fact that it was called a completion on the field. That really bothered me. The halftime debacle where somehow they claim the snap was off in time, even though to me it was pretty clear and obvious that there were double zeros on the clock.
Yes, that was bad.
The biggest ball don't lie moment after Cam Little misses. And I could swear there was another call in this game where I'm like, what the I think it was
the sneak. There was a couple sneaks a couple ball placements where I was like,
yes,
I don't know about that one. And there was some where I thought they got wrong on the Bills' part, and then immediately would get it wrong on the Jaguars' part. It was such a weird officiated game where I feel like they had no confidence in themselves. They were just checking their work on everything. They'd make a call and immediately go to New York and talk about it for 10 minutes. They had no idea what they were doing.
No, they didn't. And the funniest part is that in this game, the sneaks and the close yardage measurement stuff was so prevalent. This is not the first. Last year, they implemented these virtual measurements because of Josh Allen and the Bills in short yardage and missing calls and not getting it right. That's where it all kind of was kickstarted. And now here we are again in another playoff game with Josh Allen, and they're struggling to get these very close sneak plays correct. And then they'll pop up the virtual measurement thing on our screens on the broadcast as if it helps anybody. And they just get laughed at. And the NFL is like the biggest joke of $1 billion product ever, because they're like, oh, here's this image, this very colorful picture to show these idiot viewers while we deliberate the wrong call that we just made. It's like, we're getting too smart for this shit as a public entity. And that is a side tangent, I guess I'll save. But it was very aggravating throughout the course of this game. Like you said, the huddling and the questionable spotting, it's just just get something right. Like you're a professional referee. You've trained your whole life. Just one time.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some games that I can watch and I don't even notice the refs like at all. But they were kind of all I noticed for a good bit of that game. But the other negative thing I kept noticing was a one Jordan Hancock on the Buffalo Bills. That was the one thing that I was like, oh my god! Like if they lose, it's on this guy, this one individual, because he was just getting fried every which way.
An underrated storyline of this game was Parker Washington exiting early with a concussion and then returning, and then Jordan Poyer getting injured with a hamstring and not returning. And we noticed visibly the impact that both of those sequences had on the game. Like the immediate second Poyer was ruled out, the downfield passing game was ignited, and Jordan Hancock was in the area every single time. It's like there's no coincidence there whatsoever. And usually it was Parker Washington that was involved. So it just felt like across the board, nothing was going the Bills' way, and they still were able to power through in almost a 49ers-esque way. And Sean McDermott's dealing with just not much talent. Greg Rousseau played out of his mind. I thought Shaq Thompson played a good game, but Trey White was really the MVP on that backside. And it's funny because we go and then watch the 425 game and we see another old head in Eric Kendricks just go crazy. It's like, what did these unks eat for breakfast this morning? Because these guys were the MVPs of their respective units. Like Trevor Lawrence was like, I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but he wasn't good when passing more than 10 yards downfield because of the tight coverage that the secondary was playing, the disguises they were throwing out there. And Trey White was leading the way. He was. And I feel like that was his best game I've seen him play since like Gronk was trying to kill him. It was awesome. Like it felt like a vintage Bills playoff game. That's what it felt like. Like it was Josh Allen making plays time and time again. I thought there was really good offensive play calling. I'm pretty shocked to find out, but also not, that Bills fans are upset about the play calling because they're always upset at coaching, no matter what. But yeah, I mean, they gave up 24 points, but I still feel like the defense was overall a net positive. The Jags had a lot of big plays. I think early on they had a run game. I was shocked they didn't go to Tootin more. I felt like he had an entire drive where he would just hand off 15-yard gain and repeat, and then they stopped. Like he had 4 carries for 51, and then they were just done with that experiment. Same with Etienne. He had 10 carries for 67. It's really good. Didn't try that much. Overall, they had 154 yards, averaged 6.7 yards a carry. Didn't really try and lean on it too much. They kind of just were cool with trying to air it out and expose Buffalo. And that's kind of Buffalo's biggest strength defensively, unless Jordan Hancock's out there, is defending vertical passing concepts. So that ended up winning them the game. Most definitely. It was huge. Even in the biggest spots where I was fully expecting, like even Trevor Lawrence to get more involved with his legs. That was something we talked about in the preview episode where we were thinking that Lawrence's legs would make a big difference. And he had 6 for 31, but in terms of the high value plays that you would get from his legs, or at least that we've been seeing over the past few weeks, they really weren't there. They were just kind of sporadic scrambles, across the course of the game that were picking up small amounts of yardage here and there. And that was like my biggest worry for the defense, was containing Lawrence, because he kind of feels like that slippery, wiggly type of runner, but they did an excellent job of it. And really the only designed carry I could remember was the read option on that 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, where the Bills played it beautifully and Sean McDermott had to challenge the referees for the spot. Another one that I was forgetting about, but that was kind of the story of Jacksonville. And I think what they'll be talking about for the next few months is why they didn't run the ball more. That was questionable for sure.
Yeah, 23 combined carries to your 30 passing attempts. I just didn't love it, especially with how efficient they were. Like everybody was. It wasn't just one guy. It wasn't just one run. Like they were pretty efficient. And that's Buffalo's like by far like their biggest weakness defensively is plugging gaps, stopping the run, handling the speed, and they found success. Like each running back had multiple good explosive carries, and then they were just like, meh. I think they just wanted to go pound for pound, blow for blow with Josh Allen. Like they didn't want to dictate the game their way. They wanted to play it the way Josh was playing it, and it just didn't work.
Mm. Yeah, especially considering how Trevor was questionably throwing the ball down the field. Like I tweeted out halfway through like the third quarter, Trevor Lawrence should have had like 6 interceptions, but he had only thrown 1. And then by the end of the game, I tweeted out Trevor Lawrence should have thrown 7 interceptions, but he threw 2. Like the amount of times he would pass into coverage and the ball would pop up and hang in the air or fall near a Bills player and not a Jaguars player, and we didn't get it was more than I can count on one hand. Really, he just got away with so many. But finally, on the last drive, ball didn't lie once again. He throws into coverage again, and it pops up, and that time they were able to capitalize. So, yeah, I think this was really the Bills season in a nutshell. Like dealing with all this adversity, all of the injuries, Josh Allen having to put the cape on. And it was everything that we've experienced packed into 60 minutes. And Josh Allen took a fucking beating. Josh Hines Allen can fuck right off. Like, did you see that? Did you see what he did?
Yes, he humped him.
He just dropped his whole ass on his head.
Yeah, he just rubbed his goodies right on him. It was crazy. I think he takes offense. Like I think he partially changed his name because of Josh Allen. And he's kind of pissed about that. He's like, God damn it. Like this quarterback made me change my own God-given name. I'm going to kill him. Or I'm going to rub my goods on him. And he chose the latter. He did do that, but he kind of killed him too. Like he got his licks in. He tried to hurt him. It's the Bills line isn't bad by any means. It's just like, it felt like the last 2 years they had like a steel fortress. So seeing these games like that Houston game and this one a little bit, like seeing where they could be a little bit exposed and Josh takes some licks, makes you cringe a little bit, but still overall a very solid line.
Yeah, it is. It's just like Josh, man, it's so scary every time he's on the ground. It's like, please get up. Please get up.
I know.
And even he's in the pocket trying to throw a pass, and then he's smashing his fingers into the backs of offensive linemen's helmet. Like he hurt his hand. He basically extended his knee. Josh Hines Allen threw his whole fucking ass on his head. Like he was running design quarterback runs and getting smoked. He was getting blown back in the pocket at times. That throw to Brandon Cooks, which was the best play of probably the entire postseason of any player for the game, he got obliterated there too. He was just getting destroyed. And I don't think there's any quarterback in the NFL or any quarterback that I could really think of that can take this sort of beating and still play so damn good. Like Herbert is up there in terms of the responsibility he bears, the beatings he takes, and the way he handles it. But as we saw tonight, his quality of play quickly deteriorated over the course of the game, whereas Josh is experiencing all of this. It somehow didn't. He is a literal machine in that sense.
He is. I mean, he's the Winter Soldier. That dude literally is like Bucky Barnes, like that robot arm in that super serum that Captain America took. Like he is doing that.
He is. It's awesome. My final question for the Jaguars, specifically going into the offseason, I would say, given the success that the Bills receivers have, it definitely confirms that their weakest positional group, in my opinion at least, would be their cornerbacks. So with that being said, do you keep Brian Thomas Jr. and you decide, you know what, maybe Travis Hunter is better off in our secondary with Parker Washington's emergence? Or do you trade BTJ because you clearly don't really plan on featuring him and you keep Travis as a wide receiver?
I would probably keep Travis at corner. I mean, I think he could be a very talented receiver. I think he could be a top 15 receiver, but I think that's a guy with like that kind of movement ability can be a top 5 corner. Like I think that can be a Derek Stingley type corner. So I think you lock him in there. You can still put him in on some packages if you get some receiver injuries. you have that guy that's still there. But I think you put him at one position and you make him master it, and then you can let him play a little bit on the other sides. But like, I think people hate on him because they're like, this is a guy that's only pretty good at two positions, but like, I think he's a legit elite corner that can be top 5 in the game. So I think you let him sit there. You just extended Jacoby Myers for 3 years. You have BTJ, who's talented, just maybe kind of a baby, and Parker Washington, who's maybe not as talented, but he's not a baby at all. So you have 3 guys that I feel pretty good about. You can always add another receiver in the draft. Like that's an easy. It's pretty easy to find a receiver 3. So I would definitely plant him a corner.
If the Jaguars were offered a first-round pick, even if it's later in the draft, like 18 to 20 plus choice for Brian Thomas, are you accepting it?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends on like if they can confirm with him, like are you just going through a rough patch? Like did a loved one die? Like did something happen in your like that's making your brain not be where it was last season? If they can get that out of him, then maybe I would hold on to him and see if I can get the 2024 version back. But if this is just him now, like if this is just the product that we're getting and it's staying this forever, I'm gone. Like I'm getting a first round pick while I can, 100%.
And then you're still playing Travis at corner.
Probably. I mean, Parker Washington and Jacoby's a solid 1-2 punch. Like you can find another one. I think you can rotate Travis in, but I wouldn't make him like a feature guy.
Yeah. It definitely has gotten to a point, at least this past year, where we realized he needs to be somewhere permanently. Like this whole back and forth thing, it just isn't going to work, and that's okay. You know, it's the NFL. This is a much different sport. So where he ends up, I don't think they can make the wrong decision. I think the only thing that would be a net negative is if they deal BTJ away for pennies. Like you can't just trade him because you don't have clear future plans. Like I think you got to get like a top 40 pick at worst. Yeah. Like if you're not, then you keep him and you figure it out from there. But it really felt like in this game, if Jacksonville had Travis Hunter at corner, they probably win.
I would agree. I don't think that he's giving up that big gain to Keon Coleman. He's not giving up, all these other gains. So I would agree with that.
Well, congratulations to my Buffalo Bills for making me piss myself. And I do still stand on the fact that they should have kneeled at the 1. I don't know where you felt at that on that last drive.
I didn't get into it, but I know a lot of people talked about that. I'm just so of the fact that you just take like points in the NFL, touchdowns in the NFL are so hard to get. They're so hard to get. So like if someone kneels at the 1 and they fail to get in at the very end, Sean McDermott would be assassinated in public. He would be drawn, quartered. His family would be killed. Everyone would be killed. If he chose not to score on the 1-inch line and took a step or 2 back and then tried to score and didn't get it, it would be bad. Because like Josh Allen's a great QB sneaker, but like they were not having success running the ball. They didn't control the line of scrimmage at all. So I didn't like have like this like blinding faith that they would get in the next play if they scooted back a yard or 2. I was like, your defense is playing well. Make them get a full drive. You just score your touchdown. You score all your points that you need. Make them go win. You shouldn't have to worry about trying to win. You just win now. Make them go win. And they didn't.
Yep, that is true. I think for McDermott, he was setting himself up for what felt like a repeat of some dark times. So I think that's why a lot of Bills fans, including myself, were just like, you kneel it once. I think in that scenario, even if on 2nd and goal, and it's like you kneel it once, you force Jacksonville to use their final timeout, and then on 2nd and goal, you run a play. If you lose 2 yards, then so what? I still fully expect Josh Allen, Joe Brady, and company to get 2 yards to score a touchdown in 2 plays. The thing I would have been worried about was a penalty. If a penalty happens, that's where it's like, oh, fuck, what did we just do wrong? I think for us as being very scarred and very harassed Bills fans for coaching decisions in the past. We would rather like the right decision, what we feel is the right decision in the moment, be made, and then look back and say, oh man, you can't control a penalty, than say, oh man, look, Sean, you could have burned way more clock and you didn't, and this is not the first time, and now here you are getting assassinated anyway. So it's like, it worked out.
It's just,
this is tough.
It's just like risk mitigation. Like what's more obvious, or what's more likely that like something bad happens and you can't score in 2 or 3 plays, or you can't get a stop. And like I felt pretty good about their chances of getting a stop. I mean, they had a minute. Like it wasn't like they had like 3 minutes to go do whatever they want, run the ball. They have one of the best pass defenses in the league. Like it was hard to get a window, and they turned it over on the very next play.
That's fair. In hindsight, yeah, that makes sense. I think we are probably a lot more emotional than the objective non-fans.
Yeah, I mean, especially as someone that like plays Madden, you're like all you know is time control. Like it's all Madden players have. All they care about is just like control the clock. Like I need to be the last one to score. But man, touchdowns are hard to come by. So when you have like the best chance of getting one on the 1-inch line, I'm like, just take it. Don't overthink this, because if you overthink it and fuck it up, you're fired. He would be fired.
Yeah, that's true. From McDermott's perspective specifically, he would be fired. He would probably be, or
with D batteries. Like he would be beaten up with a sock full of D batteries. Yes,
or both.
Yes.
Well, we didn't have to worry about it, thank God. So he is safe. I think Joe Brady is safe. All the firings that all of the Bills fans wanted after a 12-win season, not happening. Sorry. Nope. Suck it up. And that brings us to the other most controversial coach, I would say, in the postseason, in Matt LaFleur and Green Bay. 21-3. They choke it away completely. Oh, man. Being a Jordan Love hater, I embrace it. I'm very mixed on my opinion of this game. So I want you to share yours so I can gauge where mine is at.
Kind of similar. I thought the first half was stellar. It was an incredible showing. I think that LaFleur was unbelievable in the first half. Everybody was wide open. Love made all the right throws. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns and like only a handful of incompletions in the entire first half. But when you break that down and you look at the second half and you see he only completed about 50% of his passes, the second half was just a brutal passing showing for them. So overall, like you're like, wow, 323 and 4 touchdowns. That is really good, because he had an unbelievable A+ first half. That's not to take away from him, but the second half, they just melted. Josh Jacobs averaged 2.9 yards per carry. They couldn't run the ball out. Emmanuel Wilson only had 1 carry. They didn't even try that experiment. I think there is critique for there to be made about LaFleur, but I don't know. I think there was just lapses in execution. There were some bad drops that I think could have won the game. And I think ultimately your kicker putting up 7 points off the board was ultimately why you lost.
Yeah,
that's pretty simple math for me. Like LaFleur, he's the head coach. He can take some criticism. The kicker left 7 points on the board that all were really easy makes.
That was definitely, I think that's the biggest ding on him at this point. It's just, why is special teams still such a problem? Yeah. And I think that's why Packers fans are so adamant. Like I'm seeing well-respected beat writers in Green Bay writing hit pieces to get him out because they are this fed up. It is something I could understand, because I have seen it happen with my own head coach with this kind of thing. But you got to hold strong through times like this. As frustrating as it is, you have to consider the field of who's available also. Like the Packers are going through the same thing that Bills fans have. It's like, okay, you fire Sean and you fucking hire who? You hire who? And then you're fed up with the amount of time that Matt LaFleur is taking to find success. And then you bring someone in. How much time do you give them before you start getting frustrated with the lack of success from the new coach? Like, just because you hire somebody else doesn't automatically mean you're going to win a Super Bowl, which for both of these teams is pretty much the next step, in my opinion. So if you're not winning a Super Bowl the first 3 or 4 years you bring in a new coach, then you're ending up with the same result. So what is really the end goal here? You stick with the guy that definitely, I think, has this offense in a really good spot. You find a better special teams coordinator, I guess, like Rich Bisaccia having Josh Jacobs return kicks. It's, if we're that desperate, you probably need to start figuring it out earlier in the season. McManus was assaulting fucking flight attendants a year ago. Why is he on the team? Do you remember that kick like in week 8 that was potentially for the game? It was like in a windstorm, granted, but it was the worst game-winning attempt kick ever.
Yes. It was like a 60-yarder, but he like completely like he missed it by like a net 40 yards. Yes, like it was awful. Yeah, I think there is criticism to be made of why McManus was out there in the first place, why they didn't find a replacement. But again, let's go scour the free agent kicker pool, shall we? Like, if he comes in and brings in a guy you've never heard of, and that kid comes in and goes over 2 with a missed extra point, McManus is also being called to be fired. Like, I think people are just very, very reactionary based. Like, I mean, it was one of the best first half of football. I would say it was the best first half of any team in the playoffs, comfortably. And it was a second half collapse also of Jeff Hafley's defense. It was a second half collapse of just a lot of really big moments that the Bears capitalized on. A lot of bad drops, a couple of Jordan Love missed throws, and then that's really all it was. It wasn't super deep. The Bears just came back. I couldn't think of a lot of things specifically where I thought LaFleur made the wrong decisions going for it versus not going for it, having the wrong personnel out there. Like I really feel like scoring 27 points in a playoff game should win you the game, and it just did.
I think the thing that Packers fans are trying to find the answer to is the difference in play calling from half 1 to half 2, and they feel like this is a trend where they get a lead and then all of a sudden the play calling appears to change. I don't know if there's any truth to this. I don't know if any Packers fans actually know that there's truth, if they're just saying it because they want another reason to hate LaFleur. I'm not sure. In my opinion, what I saw was in the first half, I think Jordan Love was pressured just as much as Jalen Hurts was in the entire game against the 49ers. And he looked the way an NFL quarterback should look when you're not under pressure. Like, the fact that Jalen Hurts wasn't able to produce the way that Jordan Love did, it just goes to show how fucking bad Jalen Hurts played and how bad Kevin Patullo is. Like, you should be able to figure it out when you're not under pressure. Point blank, period. So you're able to, 4-man rush, zone behind. They dice it up first half. Second half, Dennis Allen made some great adjustments. They were, sending pressure packages, playing man behind finally, and it was working. And when Jordan Love was asked to drop back and find an answer, it just wasn't consistent. And it's almost like the same conversations we've had with Hurts in a way where you're not unathletic. He just doesn't find a way to elevate with his legs when he needs to. And I want to go back and watch the game to feel more confident in this take, but it really felt like there were a few dropbacks where he maybe could have done something with his mobility and he just kind of didn't. Now, does that mean he played bad? No. Does that mean it's his fault? No, not by any stretch. But that's where I have such a hard time getting behind Jordan Love. It's like when push comes to shove, I feel like the elevation factor is just not quite there.
Right. He's very much a cool weather, no wind, no precipitation, no pressure quarterback. Like he is capable of making the best throws in the league. And he did. Like it was an automatic first half. He was pressured one time in the first half. He incomplete pass on that one pressure. Like it was just like he was under perfect conditions and he made great throws. But like you said, when the Bears dialed up the heat a little bit, they changed up what they were doing. I mean, the play calling could have been better, but I mean, it was 21-9 going into the fourth quarter. And the Packers had 3 drives They punted on one. They scored a touchdown on the other one. And they came up short on a big drive on that last one. So, it wasn't like they were just completely like 3-and-outing the entire fourth quarter. The Bears just scored more points than they did. The Bears just kept finding ways to get the ball back. Caleb was making some stupid throws, and they just won the game.
I think the funny part about this game, too, is as a Chicago Bears halftime bettor, where I was very much rooting for them to win, I was getting very frustrated with the lack of opportunities that they were taking advantage of when Josh Jacobs fumbles and then Darian Kinnard fumbles and somehow 3 Bears players fall on it and then they kick it out of bounds because they have no brain cells. And then Christian Watson fumbles it into the end zone and Kevin Byard's too busy fucking off to see the ball laying on the ground in front of him. It's like, this was the number 1 team in takeaways all season long. They've sucked, really, but they've been bailed out by taking advantage of opportunities like this, and they weren't able to, and they still won the game. Like, Green Bay caught every break you could possibly ask them to catch, and they just couldn't make 1 or 2 plays to seal it. But that is where Caleb Williams came in. I feel like we got to talk about the Bears a little more.
We do. And that's the other thing that I was going to say is, like, even with that critique, the Bears' fourth quarter looked field goal, touchdown. They scored 3 touchdowns in that fourth quarter with some of the stupidest throws. Colston Loveland looks all the part of a top 5 tight end in the NFL already. I do not care. He is incredible. Caleb Williams, really rough start to the game. He acted like it didn't even happen in that second half. He was automatic, and I don't care about the 50% completion percentage. I don't, honestly. When you are that good under pressure in the fourth quarter, when shit matters, and it sounds hypocritical because I say Jordan Love has a 50% completion percentage. It's bad. And then with Caleb, I say I don't care. But with Love, he wasn't under pressure all game. He became under pressure, and his shit just dropped. His entire game just dropped. Whereas with Caleb, he was under pressure. It was struggling. Then he found a way to overcome it, and he was slinging that shit. And he looked fantastic down the stretch. So scoring 3 touchdowns and a field goal is in the fourth quarter is a really good way to earn people's respect.
Exactly. And that is where the difference in a quarterback like Jordan Love and Caleb Williams lies. It's like, what matters the most to me is how you perform in these high pressure cooking moments. And, that's why the whole Justin Herbert thing is going to be very infatuating for me this offseason because, you get it. And then you get Jordan Love in these situations versus Caleb Williams in the same game. And these are 2 completely different quarterbacks to me. And even from a demeanor standpoint, I don't know if you caught it, but throughout the course of the game, we're getting a lot of close-ups of Caleb Williams on the sideline, yelling at his teammates, encouraging them, very upbeat, very much like a leader. To me, a lot of the time when they panned to Jordan Love, he just had this mellow, not very emotionally driven face on, and he just kind of almost looked scared or intimidated. Like, it didn't strike me as there was any sort of confidence that he was going to walk out there on that final drive and make it happen. Like, I was screaming at my television, like, he doesn't got it. It's not him. This isn't what he's about. Like, and that was really coming from a place of seeing just his face, like, on the sideline. And it sounds so dumb and so cliche. And I feel like people that are X's and O's and statistically driven, like, they laugh at that kind of stuff, but it's true. Like, especially for
football,
for quarterbacks too. It's like you get a lot of your motivation as a team from your leader. And when you look at your leader who has the ball in his hands every play, and it doesn't look like they have any sort of confidence at all, you're not going to have confidence. And that was Caleb versus Jordan. Yes,
it is real. When I wrestled, I knew if I lost or won based off how that guy was looking at me. If he looked kind of scared, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to kill this guy. Like, this is going to be so easy. And there's a way that he'd look at me where I'm like, oh shit, like, I'm done for. And it kind of was a very similar thing. Body language is huge. And people like you said, that look at, the X's and O's, they're the data punchers, the film watchers. They don't pick up on that kind of stuff, but it's so real. That's why quarterback is so different from being a pitcher it's so different from being, a goalie. It is the most advanced position in all of sports because you have to be good at it. You have to be athletic. You have to be a leader. You have to be tough. And the leadership and the toughness parts are arguably the two most important at the quarterback position. I think Caleb has done a really good job of those things. And those are my biggest critiques of Jordan Love.
Absolutely. And that Caleb has always had this in his game. And I think people discounted it. Like they just talked about how he can't pass from the pocket and he paints his nails. So they don't talk about it very much, but he has never been fazed by the moment. And this has been from in school, in the NFL. Like when he needs a play on 3rd down or 4th down, there are not a lot of quarterbacks I would rather have than Caleb right now. And this game puts a seal on that envelope 100%. That throw on 4th and 8 was arguably the greatest throw I've ever fucking seen in my life. Like, given the circumstances, the pressure, rolling left, Air Jordan logo and all, puts that thing in a bucket. Like, best arm in the league. I don't care.
That's fair. I don't think that's crazy. I mean, it's not even just the arm. It's like the body mechanics. Whose body is moving this way? Like that's something like you said it earlier, and I said it for the Chargers game. I was like, you can say Herbert's better than Caleb all you want. Like I will agree with you, but I think he gives them a better shot to win these kind of games. Like if you put Caleb in those kind of games, that's why I never count the Bears out, because he can do literally anything on the football field. With other quarterbacks, that you're like, like Herbert's a good thrower on the run, but he's pretty stiff. Like he has limitations despite being so physically talented. Caleb doesn't really have physical limitations outside of just not being super tall.
Right. And the torque he gets behind a throw when he's like jumping and twisting is so special. Like this is not a normal football player. And I said it like months and months ago, but I feel like when it's all said and done, I'm going to say it again. There is a chance that we look back on Caleb Williams' career and we say this was the greatest pure passer of a football that we've ever fucking seen. Like Rodgers is at the top comfortably right now, but even he didn't have this in his bag anywhere close for that matter. Like he is revolutionizing the position.
Not his first 2 years. I mean, he didn't even play in his first 2 years, but even then, like Rodgers' mechanics were trash. When he first started playing football, they were trash. And then he eventually learned in his 20-year career. Like this is year 2 for Caleb. Like guys, he's 23, 24 years old. He's got 5 years till he probably even touches his prime, which is pretty crazy.
It's horrifying. That's really, really scary. And he's got Ben Johnson to do it with, who I thought was exceptional down the stretch in this game too.
Yes, he was.
There were a lot of play calls where he just outclassed Jeff Hafley, and that was impressive. Like Jeff Hafley's no pushover. This is a prime head coaching candidate. He held down Ben Johnson and company for the entire game, but once again, when it was needed, I thought Ben Johnson came with the curveball necessary to make it happen. And then if it didn't work, Caleb bailed it out. So it's really the perfect combination of head coach and quarterback that is going to be a tough duo to stop for years to come, which is always why throughout the course of the season, I never was quite behind the Bears are frauds thing. Like,
no,
I get why people are saying it. The defense isn't great, but frauds? Like, do we know who's playing on this team right now?
Right. The offense can beat anybody in the league. And if the defense can force 2 turnovers, they probably win.
100%. And they didn't even, did they?
No.
Could have.
And they still won.
Yes. And that's the other thing too. They have found ways to win, many different ways to win throughout the entire season. So yeah, Matt LaFleur, I'm sorry, but Ben Johnson doesn't like you. And neither do your fans.
Neither do I.
And neither does
I'm kidding. You're cool. You're cool.
My friends were making fun of his haircut. It's like he just has like a kid haircut. Like why are we making fun of poor Matt LaFleur's haircut?
I feel like he's like one of the better looking coaches in the league.
He is. He's attractive.
I feel like looks wise, I feel like that's not the way you go after LaFleur. Maybe EPA. Well, he actually EPA is his stat too.
He does. Yes, he's Mr. EPA badge. Well, that leaves us with the Los Angeles Rams and Carolina Panthers game, which did not go how I expected it by any means. I'm very glad that the good guys came out on top. The bad guys got way too close. Keep the bad guys off my TV. I can't stand the bad guys.
Get them away from me. God, and there's such a fun story too. Like it's so crazy that I root against them.
I know.
Really, right? Like you have a 5'10" quarterback that everybody thought was a bust. You have like Rico Dowdle and company, Jalen Coker, Dave Canales. Like this is a team of underdogs that just found a way to bulldog their way into the playoffs against like the heavily favored Rams. But God, like it's just I couldn't bring myself to root for the Panthers. And I think that's why the game got so close, is because the football gods hate me. But it ended up being really, really cool with some really, really cool moments. Bryce Young played probably his third best game of the year. His other games being the other Rams game and the Falcons game. I'd say this is his third best. That throw to Coker was pretty damn nasty down the stretch. Coker again is their best receiver, and I'm done explaining it. But Stafford came down. I mean, he was lightning to start the game. He struggled after he hurt his hand. But God, that was an absolute seed to Parkinson to win that game.
It was like perfectly placed back shoulder, and how many like fringe blockers are making this adjustment and then twisting and staying in bounds? Like, what are we feeding the 13 personnel package over in Los Angeles to be making plays like that? I was very confused at times with Stafford, because it's like any drop back could be a seed for a touchdown or a pick. And I'm like, that was really his game. I guess the Panthers just kind of have the answer to him. Maybe it's just one of those things where, you know, the Panthers like playing the Rams, and then Los Angeles will go on to face whoever they go to face next week that I can't think of, and they will be perfect. There won't be any issues or any stumbles. It's just like add the Rams to the list of teams that the Panthers for some reason play good against with the Falcons. So now there's two teams on that list that Bryce Young is going to have his job saved by. So.
Yeah, I mean, that happens. Those exist all the time in sports. Like just some random team that has your number for one reason or another. And it does look like the Panthers play their best offensive ball against the Rams and the Falcons. And even though they kind of cooled down Stafford, the Rams still scored 34 points. So I wouldn't say they completely stopped them. Puka still had his game. Devontae Adams still got involved. They played championship offense overall. Their defense was concerning because they were just getting beat by the Panthers playmakers, which we didn't say that too often this whole season. Jalen Coker with 134 yards and a touchdown. Bryce Young using his legs a couple times. Rico Dowdle only having 5 carries was kind of like the real weird part of the game. But yeah, overall, Panthers, I mean, they deserve to be happy after this game going into next season, having some stuff to build on. The Rams, I get feeling it weird and gross about them after that game, but trust me, like I do think the Panthers just have their number. I feel better about their next game than this previous one.
Agreed. I did have a thought prior to this, like right before the game started. I'm like, now that I think about it, the teams that the Rams have struggled against have been in the NFC South. Didn't they struggle again? They struggled against the Falcons. They struggled against the Panthers twice now. I'm like, what is it in the water of the NFC South that just kind of gets them? And then, lo and behold, it was a close game. And Bryce Young, once again, similar to the first time they played, made the big throws in the big moments. And I thought he did a good job of getting mobile. Like he very rarely was just kind of hopping in the pocket and standing still. He was, running around in the pocket he was given and trying to find passing lanes. And then he was getting out of the pocket and finding open players. Like, he does have a vision problem. He can't see, but he was doing a good job of finding areas of the field behind the line of scrimmage where he could see and where players were getting open. And it was giving the Rams a really hard time, like especially like Los Angeles's defensive front is they're heavy, they're physical, but they're going to have a harder time changing direction and, trying to make, curves to try and chase you toward the sideline. Like, I think that was where the mix-up was for the Rams defense, especially when your secondary is not the best. Like, they've played above average this year, but the Los Angeles Rams defensive backs are definitely their weakest point, and Jalen Coker, McMillan had their way for sure.
They did.
Except for Leggett. He never does.
He never does, dude. Yeah, it's poor guy, but kind of deserved. I mean, borderline least impactful first round pick like ever. But I mean, I feel sad for Panthers fans looking back. Like, I kind of rooted on their downfall, and I got what I wanted, but we have such good football now. Like the NFC looks so good on paper for this bracket. So you have the 49ers versus Seahawks, the Rams, and the Bears. That's awesome. I could not have handpicked a better four to be competing in the playoffs. This is going exactly how I could have ever wanted. So it's beauty.
That's what people need to understand. Like, the Panthers winning this game would have been terrible for entertainment purposes for the rest of us. Like, they were not going to – they're not winning shit. Sorry. They weren't going to, even if they won this game. Pulled off the biggest upset. If Jimmy Horn doesn't try to alligator catch the final pass, they still don't win the Super Bowl. So it just would have been not great for viewing purposes beyond this game. So it worked out in the end. I do feel even worse for Panthers fans because they once again go into an offseason wondering, is Bryce Young our franchise quarterback? And they don't have an answer. It's just the Kyler Murray experiment all over, just the opposite, because Kyler just is always hurt, so you just don't know. But where Bryce is like, he's so inconsistent, you just don't know. So you're just following the same hamster wheel of like, fuck, man, we go into an offseason where he ends on a high note, and what do we think? Well, fortunately, they just pick up the option and find out.
I think they like Bryce. Like, Kyler Murray, it was like inconsistent play, and we hate you personally. With Bryce Young, like, it's inconsistent play, but he's a sweet guy. Like, they like him over there. So I think he's a lot more welcome there than Kyler was in Arizona for sure. Like, they still want Kyler gone. He's still one of their best quarterbacks ever somehow. Like, they have not had a good fleet of quarterbacks in that rich history of theirs in Arizona, and they still hate him. Carolina, the same thing. I mean, they've had Cam Newton, and that's it. They haven't had shit before or after him. So to have a little bit of success and make the playoffs, that's a success in my book compared to their preseason expectations. So there's something to build on now. It's a lot better than last year. Just not your year.
Agreed. Well, that will wrap up our wild card reactions. Let us know what you thought of the games in the comment section. Join the Discord. You can talk with us further in there. And we will see you in episode 87.